firing. Near corner. It's caught! Touchdown, Alabama! Isaiah Bond!
Take 5, it's time to reboot. Duck, goose, goose, I don't need to choose.
Lillard, long range three! With 5 seconds to go. They gotta pay attention to the clock. Gillen. Unbelievable! No time left. Eagles win.
That one's drilled to left field. Is it high enough? See ya! A walk-off grand slam! And the Yankees win! Just hit 60, and the Yankees win in walk-off fashion!
And with 3 seconds left, Cleveland triggers in. James, 2 seconds, 1 second for the win! LeBron James delivers! That's a winner in Cleveland!
Hallelujah. Take 5, it's time to reboot. Duck. Who's winning? So I don't need to choose to the rules.
And it's blocked. And it's picked up by Will Hill. Will Hill runs down the sideline. Hill's gonna get a block. Will Hill is gonna win the game on a blocked field goal. Got a mismatch. Walker on McGee with 4. Kemba Walker. Step back. Walker. Kobe. Kemba does it again. UConn wins at the buzzer.
My mom taught me to move your feet while now tap dance kicking ass like this FIFA.
What's up, everybody? How's it going tonight? Welcome into the Fifth Take. Got myself tonight hanging out with you guys. We got 64 Chris with us tonight. Chris, how many times did we go over that clip of watching the Ravens win that game by beating the Browns? Did that get you like, man, I remember that game?
And I enjoy it every time. Every time. I smile every time. Every time I see the block, I smile every time.
Every time I see that cardiac Kimba thing, I'm like, I remember where I was at when that clip happened. So that's what's so great about sports.
Shout out.
You can remember where you're at every single time something happens.
I'm sorry, I was like cutting you off. I got a little excited because I always wanted to do this. Shout out to Kemba Walker, Dykeman Project's very own. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got family that grew up there. So yeah, he represented them in that clip. Wonderfully. Took some ankles, ended the game. Say what you want. But yeah.
I always thought for the longest time that defender was Luis Scola. He looks just like him.
I don't know. His ankles is hanging somewhere on Kemba Walker's wall. I know that.
That guy went to the NBA. That guy went to the NBA.
I don't know. After how you play defense there, his sneakers is on a power line somewhere. I thought he'd hang it up after that one.
Oh, you think his sneakers would look like Zion's when he blew them out, but they weren't.
Oh, never mind. Gary McGee.
So let's get into it, guys. Crazy couple of days with trades going on. The Cowboys went from having one of the worst defenses to arguably now on paper look pretty damn good with Quentin Williams. Excuse me. Bless you. Shout out Williams. And then they got the linebacker out of Cincinnati. That was a good pickup. Sauce Gardner went to the Colts. Now the Colts have a better secondary. Could they be Super Bowl contenders now? Maybe.
I don't know. I love the Colts. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure if Stino was up here, he'd be saying the same thing. As a realistic fan, is they went all in, and I was just reading this article or this post on Twitter or X, whatever they call it now. They went all in, but if they do not win it this year, at what cost did they go all in for? I think that they've entered themselves into this raffle, which is win or bust. Because if they don't win this year with everything that they put out, they're not bringing anybody in. They have like 2 draft picks next year, 3 draft picks next year, and they're not anywhere close to the early rounds. It's like maybe a 3-4-7 or like a 2-3-4. You're not getting a lot of talent in those rounds. The Colts historically do not draft particularly well in those rounds. So I think you have to at least make a run. And I think that giving up a first round in a year that you were going to probably have to replace Daniel Jones at quarterback, depending on how the season ends, it's a rough move. They already traded for a cornerback earlier in the season.
Yeah.
I think this kind of bodes well for the secondary because now they got a guy that, he has the capability of being one of those guys, but at the same time, when you look at it, he needs to get back into that form where that all pro form that he had. But right now, I'd say he can provide, some form of help when it comes to that secondary, just because length, catch up speed. He knows how to play the receiver's hands when the ball's in the air, when the ball's about to be caught. So that's some of the things he's really good for. I wouldn't look for him for making interceptions. I think he had less than 2 interceptions in a 3-year span. So he's the type of guy that he can have his passes, his PBUs, but don't look for them INTs. You know what I'm saying? I will say the Jets loaded up because after this trade deadline, they literally have 5 first-round draft picks in a 2-year span. They got one from Indy going into next year's draft, and they got one from Indy and another one from Dallas going in the draft after that. So they're able to literally just attack both levels of the secondary with either one of those picks in the next 2 years, because this draft class, defensive line heavy. The next draft class will probably be a shift, and we'll see a shift into some secondary help. So they're able to fix a lot of holes in their team. And yeah, it still doesn't really bode well, because we don't even know how they're going to work out, because first year GM, we don't really know how his draft's going to really, pan out. So, the Colts bought in right now. They got key pieces, defensive line, linebacker, and they just needed some secondary help. So, I mean, they're looking more and more like a Super Bowl contender just because of their play. They just got to be able to run that pill. That's it.
What do y'all think about that trade that the Cowboys sent for Quinnen Williams? A second and a first. The first is in 2027. So they still got that first-round pick from Green Bay still available, plus their own. You think they could build something else? I mean,
I would have been.
I was upset.
I would have been more like, as I was just saying with the Colts, is they essentially made it a win or bust kind of situation. With the Cowboys having the first-round pick from Green Bay, I would have rather seen them go after somebody like Sauce Gardner. I do like the Quinnen Williams trade. I do think getting another guy on that defensive line who is disruptive, aside from being, a very solid, if not one of the top 5 defensive tackles in the league. But I just don't know if they did enough. Logan Wilson, he's okay. Quinnen Williams is great. Don't get me wrong. But does he really help the pass rush that much? Is it that much? I have to go back and look. I don't, we've talked about it in previous weeks where your D tackle, if he's the guy that's getting to the quarterback, you're losing a lot more of like on draw plays, on screen plays, that they're going to be able to get around that. They can game plan around stuff like that. So being that they already had Kenny Clark and adding Quinnen Williams to that line, I don't know if they got the right pieces. But I don't hate the trade. I think that they didn't one first round or 1 second round, I feel like is a steal to get someone like Quinnen Williams, especially at this point in his career. He's still very effective. He's decently young at a position where they can play a long time. So if they can get him re-signed and keep him for a while, it's a great trade for them. I don't know. It's similar to like a Bills situation. I just don't think they made the right pieces, or in the Bills scenario, they didn't make any trades.
Yeah, they were rumored to get Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know what happened with that, why they didn't get it, but it is what it is. They definitely needed a wide receiver, but well. So what do you guys think?
I'll say this.
Go ahead. My bad.
I'll say this. When you have a Quinnen Williams on your defensive line, he has the talent to be so impactful that it could free up the other rushers. We've seen this with the Jets when you see a lot of talent from that explosive defensive line. One of them won McDonald the fourth. Thing about it is that when you have a guy up the middle that can get pressure by shoving the guard into the quarterback's face, you're going to usually slide protection that way, where he has 2 guys on him and the other guys got single matchups. So they got Jadeveon Clowney. They got Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark can probably contribute more to the pass rush with just one guy on him now. And Jadeveon Clowney, he still has that burst to where he can wreak havoc at some plays. Now, to what 64th point, yes, I honestly was upset about when I heard the trade details, because if I was the Jets, I would have said, okay, because Jerry Jones talked about he got some trades to set up, but depending on this game, I think that was one of them. And if I was the Jets, I'd have been like, yeah, that first rounder this year, I need that right now. We ain't talking second no more. You are 3-5-1, sir. You need him, and you need him now. So I'll hang up this phone. I'll let you think about it, and when you accept, we'll talk. Because ain't no way I'm giving away a guy who can play as long as possibly Calais Campbell, who's like probably 3 years from collecting Social Security and playing defensive end. The man had 2 sacks last night, back-to-back plays. I'm not letting that guy walk out the door without 2 first rounders. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, if the Cowboys don't work out this year, the Jets would have had another high first round pick. They would have had 2 high first round picks, and depending on how we project where the Colts are going to be come postseason time, they can literally be like 3 picks in the top 20, top 25. So it could be really impactful because they can build the team the way they need it. They can get another receiver. They can get another guy on the defensive line, and they can fix the secondary. The Jets also made a trade for another corner also. So I was upset because I feel the Jets could have had so much more draft capital from that trade, just because Quentin Williams is like 27, 28 at a position where you can literally still be effective in your high 30s.
Oh, he's top 5. Top 5 in his position. I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's top 5 now. He'll probably be like top 15, top 10 at age 37.
Yeah, he's 27 now. He's going to be in the top 5 for the next probably 5 years, unless some freaking nature comes out of college.
320-pound dude that has quick feet is rare as shit for a defensive line.
I was impressed with the way that Jerry Jones made moves today. I really didn't think they were going to get anything done. But to get a Quentin Williams, and you got the linebacker, his name keeps slipping my mind, but the linebacker from Cincinnati.
Logan Wilson.
Those Quentin Williams alone is a solid pickup for losing Micah. Mm-hmm. And then what you gave up didn't affect him at all. So
yeah, like I said, I don't necessarily hate the moves. I just think that there was other places they could have gone, maybe another move. I think they had to shore up that secondary. I still don't think that they're going to generate enough pressure for that secondary to be good. And I don't know if you watched the game last night, but DaRon Bland got shook out his boots. That was worse than the Kemba crossover, honestly.
Oh, my God.
It was worse because everybody in the whole – he's the only guy that went out for a pass, and DaRon Bland fell to the wrong side. He didn't even go the right way. He fell to the wrong side. I saw
CD's reaction. That shit was crazy.
It was – God. Lord help us.
It looked like Marvin Harrison was getting covered by a toddler when he did that, when he made his move at the pivotal point of running that play. It was fucking ridiculous. And I honestly think the trade I think the look of it right now is kind of short-sighted. I'm taking a bit of a long-term look because of the simple fact that Overshown's going to be coming back in a couple weeks. So now you got 2 linebackers that can play well in space. I believe Wilson's pretty good in coverage. That was one of his best qualities as a linebacker in Cincinnati. I just think that they may make a good pair. So as far as the front 7, it seems like they may have some guys that can play well in space. They got another guy that can play well in space that can complement the guy that comes back from the ACL injury. And now they got a guy up front who's a top 5 interior defensive lineman to go with your run stuffer that's helped your defense stop the run. The only problem is that secondary is create dash. Dallas can only hope that what they just did in this trade deadline can help them out. But I don't really think so. I mean, it's still a Matt Eberflus defense, and we all seen how Matt Eberflus defense has worked with Chicago and now here.
Well, Matt Eberflus was trash up until he got Sweat. And when he's got a perennial pass rusher, the defense looks better. So we'll see what he does with Quentin Williams. But
It's a good point.
who do y'all think? I was actually surprised not to see Kyler Murray traded. I don't know about you guys. Who was a player that you thought could have been moved, that should have been moved today, that didn't?
Oh man.
Chris Olave.
Yeah.
I mean, his career so far. Yeah, you can look at the numbers. I mean, that's kind of dependent on quarterback play. When you also look at his career, he's been injured quite a bit. So I was surprised that he wasn't moved just because of the fact that when you look at the Saints, they traded for some wide receivers early in the season. I think that guy hasn't really made an impact on the field yet, but I think when you have a Chris Olave, hey, I mean, they could have got something out of that because last time I checked, they had the worst cap space in the NFL. I thought they would have traded somebody just to alleviate some of that. So Kellen Moore can get some pieces for that team. They're scrappy, but they need guys. They need some extra guys and help, man.
I was really surprised the Raiders didn't trade for a quarterback today with a lot of these backups that are coming in and playing really good ball with the Geno Smith situation. And then I was also surprised that the Panthers didn't move Rico with the value that he has right now, what they could have gotten back. I was surprised to see that didn't happen either.
Well, as far as the Panthers things go, I think a lot of people are looking at this, and it doesn't seem like it right now. And when I say these names, I'm not using these as comparisons like, oh, they're just like them. But Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard, I think they're looking and trying to reminisce with the Jonathan Stewart, D'Angelo Williams era. They're trying to run that 2 running back system. Rico's the guy that's going to get out, and he's going to get out downfield. He's your D'Angelo Williams. And then Chuba is just he eats up yards. He is your premier back. I mean, they haven't really gone that route yet. So I'm not super surprised it didn't move one of the running backs. I think that that's the key to their offense right now is alleviate the pressure from Bryce Young. Don't make him throw the ball and just force the run game. And they have 2 guys that can do it. They can sustain any injuries on that offense right now as it stands. I am surprised that we did not see a premier pass rusher. Like, I'm talking Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby-esque player get moved today. I would have thought after the Jacoby Myers trade that the Raiders were in sell mode and they were going to sell out and try and pick up, an Anthony Richardson or a backup quarterback and unload Max Crosby and just say, hey, we need a hard reset on this team. And I thought, we talked about it on Sunday a little bit, Chris, is Trey Hendrickson. I felt that the Patriots opened up all their cap space to make this move, and they just didn't. I wasn't sure, maybe they're just keeping that cap space open for free agency this upcoming year. They have a complete team. We kind of talked about that already, but I am surprised that either one of those 2 did not get moved today.
If it was Max Crosby, that would sound like it wouldn't be so surprising to me because when you look at Pete Carroll's defenses, they're at their best when they have a guy on the edge that could wreak havoc on any offensive line and hit the quarterback. So I wasn't surprised that he wasn't traded. I think it was more Trey Hendrickson, but then when I think about it, these teams are looking at it like, okay, your defense is the worst defense in the NFL for like the past 2 seasons, even though you had a guy last year, I believe, that had over 15 sacks. He wasn't happy this past preseason. He held out up until right before the season. So, okay, well, we're not going to give you any draft picks. Why would we do that? We'll just wait till the offseason because you gave him like a 1-year deal. So now we can sign him to what we can afford because obviously you can't afford them, and we can keep our draft picks. I honestly think these teams are going to play the waiting games in the Trey Hendrickson situation just because of the fact of why am I going to sacrifice a pick when he leaves Cincinnati? Because how Cincinnati's looking defensively, he's going to leave Cincinnati. I could just throw a bag at him and be like, "Hey, man, you want to join us?"
You guys surprised?
I could keep my picks.
Were you surprised Anthony Richardson didn't get moved today?
I just don't know what the value is for Richardson.
Exactly.
I thought he was going to
He's
be
so
a Raider.
sporadic.
I thought he was going to be a Raider for sure.
I think even with the 7th round pick is an overpay for him right now. He hasn't shown anything. I get that the upside might be there, but if you can get a position that you want, you can get the guy that you want in the 7th round over somebody. And I'm not trying to talk shit on Anthony Richardson. I thought, and I am man enough to admit this, when he came into the NFL, I said, this guy's going to be good. He's got the size. He's got the skill. He's fast. He's going to wreak havoc on these defenses. And he couldn't stay healthy. He couldn't get the throwing down. And it's just with Daniel Jones coming in and doing what he's doing, that just proved that he had everything he needed to succeed and he couldn't do it.
See, I was opposite. Chris was there when we were doing projections on quarterbacks. I called him David Garrard 2.0. I thought he was going to be full of injuries, but he would have one season there where he would show promise. He showed promise, but he hasn't stayed healthy. So I've been on track.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the promise. Maybe the 7th round isn't necessarily an oversell or an overbuy, but you take a flyer on that guy.
I'd go 5th round. I'd give a 5th rounder for him.
I think the Colts probably I haven't seen any reports on this, so this is just me kind of spitballing. I feel like they wanted a lot more than people were willing to give. I'm sure there was communication about trading Anthony Richardson today. I just don't think that they were probably asking realistically, get your value back. You drafted him in the 1st round, try and get a 3rd or a 4th, and I don't think anyone's willing to do that.
I thought Miami would have reached out and had a conversation with the Colts for Anthony Richardson.
I think the Raiders would be one of the best spots, to be honest. You have a Geno Smith. He could be the old vet. They're probably teaching some things. Because when you look at Geno Smith's tape early in his career, like he has shown some flashes, like, in a way that Anthony Richardson hasn't. But Anthony Richardson has shown some flash. It's just the fact of consistency and being able to read defenses. That's where he struggles at. So if you have your starter, but your starter's up in age, and you want a guy who could be dynamic and he just has to learn, sit 1 or 2 years at a clipboard. And I think Anthony Richardson could be that guy. Like, honestly, I see Anthony Richardson being something to what Jalen Murrow is. It's just Jalen Murrow's a little bit better with reading defenses, in my opinion. That's setting the bar kind of low. It's just that when you look at Richardson coming out of Florida, 51 completion percentage. So, but he was still dynamic to keep Florida in those games. I think he needs to be developed and not thrown on the field. I'm talking about legit developed, like Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love developed. Like, hey man, you're gonna sit for these couple years, but when that timer dings, you better be ready like a fresh pot roast. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really have to spend a lot of bread because it's still a rookie deal, but at the same time, you just sacrifice a 5th or maybe a 6th round pick because we don't see the Colts going back to him anytime soon.
See, the only reason why I said Miami was because I thought that he could fit into Mike McDaniel's system better than what Tua does, right? He's got the arm talent to chuck it downfield for Tyreek Hill. He can do the slants with Jalen Waddle. You've got Darren Waller there. You've got A-Chain. There's pieces there that he could be successful. I don't think they've given him the right coach to be successful.
Do you think that we see Mike McDaniel after this year in Miami?
No.
No, I think yes, that probably is a great fit, but I think Miami, they already fired their GM. They're going to bring in a new GM, and that first thing that he's going to do at the end of the season is fire Mike McDaniel.
Bro, if I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm on the phone. I'm calling 2 places after I get fired: Pittsburgh and Kansas City.
For like an offensive coordinator position?
Pittsburgh, definitely.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. I would add 2 more. I would say Pittsburgh, and I go right back to San Francisco. Shanahan and Mike McDaniel, he was under Shanahan when they made that great run.
Just rebuild
So, I
the roster
mean,
again to lose in the Super Bowl. I love it. Let's do it.
if it gets him another job, sure. But
It should
but
come on down to
honestly,
Tampa. Usually, all of our offensive coordinators get jobs right after they fucking get hired. So
I
Baker's getting
honestly just
everybody
think
jobs right now.
Tua. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Tua's gone before McDaniel. Because what I think is Tua's lack of arm strength with those speedy wide receivers, it handcuffs the offense. Defenses recognize it, so they're not really scared of the deep ball because when he throws it, the receiver he's throwing it to has to wait for it to land. And you'd be seeing it countless times over the years. Like Richardson would be somewhat of a good fit. The only problem is the intermediate stuff over the middle. You need accuracy for that, and he doesn't have that, and he can't really read coverage as well. So it would be a good place. It would be a good place for him to spend time, but to start him immediately, absolutely not. Not even in the first 2 years, to be honest.
So, what team do you guys think right now? And I want to talk a little NBA. I know we didn't discuss that before the show, but there's a couple things I wanted to discuss. Probably you guys will catch along with what I'm saying. But what teams do you think should have made a move today that didn't?
I mean, I already touched on mine. The Buffalo Bills, and I don't think this gets talked about enough in the NFL. This is a big MLB baseball talking point, but you build rosters based off your championship window. Their championship window is right now. It has been for the last 2 years. It's going to be this year. It's probably going to be for the next 3 years while Josh Allen is in his prime as being as effective and good as he is, and they are doing absolutely nothing to help him. Getting Hairston back from injury, the way he played against the Chiefs just proved that he was a great pick, and he is going to help that defense tremendously. Offensively, we discussed it last, Sunday. We discussed it the week before. We discussed the week before that. Getting somebody to get downfield is what they're absolutely losing right now, which is why people are able to come up, stop the run, or attempt to stop the run, and simultaneously stop Khalil Shakur with those behind the line screen passes that he likes so much. That's been so effective for them. Last year when they had Mac Hollins, the year before it was like older MVS, people like that. They were linked for the longest time to Rashid Shaheed. And he ends up and he goes and gets traded to the Seahawks. I don't think that they had a backup plan. I really do think if I'm Josh Allen, even though I love Buffalo, I've set my roots here. I got married. I bought a house. I've been here for the last, it's been 6-7 years. They are failing me in my most promising time of my career, and I would leave.
Yeah, but where do you go? There's
only become an instant contender. You look for any team that is a quarterback away. The Colts.
There's only one or two teams.
If Daniel Jones does not finish the season strong like he started the season, the Colts have a roster. If they add Josh Allen to that roster, they instantly become Super Bowl contenders, if not favorites to win Super Bowl.
The only team that I would see if I'm Josh Allen that I'm going to is either down there in New Orleans with Kellen Moore and Alvin Kamara, or I'm looking at possibly the Raiders just for Las Vegas to make money.
Well, see, that's another one too. Alvin Kamara. He's linked to the Chiefs for the longest time. That's something that I said weeks ago. It finally comes out, hey, he's linked to the Chiefs with the trade deadline looming. They're looking to add somebody that can catch the ball out of the backfield. Now, they had lost Pacheco, I think, for a couple weeks now. Their premier back is Kareem Hunt. He's towards the end of his career. They drafted Rashad Smith. They very rarely use him. I think getting a veteran like Kamara in that backfield with Mahomes would have been a huge upgrade to what they have now. And that's another thing I think the Chiefs failed at that is it's just like certain teams had these issues they needed to attack. And, we don't know what goes on in the front offices, what the discussions were throughout the week or throughout the past couple of weeks. So ultimately, we have no idea what's going on or what happened. See you, boss. Go ahead, Chris.
I will say this. Sorry, 64, but I got to say shout out to the New York Jets because it was rumored that the Jets was trying to get Breece Hall for a 4th-round pick, and the Jets said no.
Mm-hmm.
They said no.
That's
we won
another
a third.
I do think that the Chiefs knew what they needed. They needed some kind of dynamic backfield playmaker that's going to open up their offense. Obviously, I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, once we get Rashee Rice back, the offense is going to open up. But I think getting Rashee Rice back and also adding a pass catching back. I mean, if you go back and look at the Super Bowls, and they don't have to be big names. I'm always going to mess this up, even as a Chiefs fan. D. Williams, we had two of them. I think it was Damian Williams that was catching the ball out of the backfield a lot. Jerick McKinnon was there. He was catching the ball out of the backfield, made big plays in the playoff run in the Super Bowl. These aren't household names. These aren't guys that are going to be top 10 at their position, but they do exactly what you need them to do. And I think that's what they needed to do. Whether it was a Breece Hall, which is a pretty big name, an Alvin Kamara, which has been a big name for a long time, or even somebody random that can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think that they were trying to address the situation. They couldn't quite get a deal done. And similar to the Bills, it's like they were trying to address the situation. The guy got traded elsewhere. They didn't have a backup plan, and they kind of failed the trade deadline.
One team I was surprised that didn't make a move was Green Bay. Green Bay just lost Tucker Kraft for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. That tight end, his tight end play this year has literally propelled Green Bay to a way where that offense can be unstoppable if Jordan Love is in the rhythm. He has taken over games. He has literally, he was lighting it up this year. And when he went down, they're going to need it now. They're going to have to find new ways to, free up the other guys. So I thought they would probably see about getting Baldinger from the Bellinger from the Giants, or something of like that. A guy who can catch the ball in space. I wouldn't say he'd be as dynamic as Tucker Kraft, but you need a big body guy that can block, catch passes, and move the chains. And the fact that they didn't make a move, David Njoku, because now the Browns got Harold Fanning. There was tight ends, and right now, they could have made a move. They could have still made a move for Jonnu Smith, or I would say Pat Freiermuth. See what's happening, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are using Darnell Washington more and more, and having a 6'7", 300-pound tight end is a bigger mismatch than what Freiermuth brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead.
So real quick, because we kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago in our private conversations, where the Bills, I keep going back to the Bills, but I think with the Tucker Kraft injury, it makes this a little bit more realistic. Is I think personally that they should have went to the Green Bay Packers, who for many decades have always had multiple receivers that are not necessarily at an elite level, but they get the job done. Oh, look at that. I think
Peter with the info.
Shout out to the freaking news.
This would have been the perfect time with the Tucker Kraft injury. Go talk to the Buffalo Bills and basically say, hey, we want Dawson Knox. You do not use him. I get that Kincaid has been injured this year, so they kind of have needed him. But they do not use him when Kincaid is healthy. They do not need him when Kincaid is healthy. They can throw anybody else and then the second tight end. And I think it would have been the perfect opportunity for them to say, hey, we want Knox. And the Bills could say, hey, give us your next fastest receiver that's not Matthew Golden or Christian Watson. Give us, somebody that can get downfield. They have a plethora of receivers, whether they're playing a lot of games or not.
Bro, Adonai Mitchell was in conversations for being traded to everybody.
He got traded. He was in that Sauce Gardner trade.
Right, but I'm saying
he went to the Jets.
Everybody on the.
I did kind of want to circle back to that too, because I think that's an underrated piece of that trade. I don't think Adonai Mitchell, talent-wise, is not what the Colts wanted. I think it was his mistakes that he's made the past 2 seasons. They were out on Adonai Mitchell. They very clearly wanted to get rid of him, whether it was a trade or release him or anything between this season and the beginning of next season. And I think throwing him into that trade was a big plus for the Jets.
I think differently of it. I mean, I understand the mistakes, second-year guy. It's just he's the odd man out when you look at that receiving corps. I mean, you got Michael Pittman Jr., you got Alec Pierce, and you got Josh Downs. Where does that leave Adonai Mitchell? He's the fourth guy, and the fourth guy doesn't really usually catch all those passes. So from what I've seen, he's a guy that he wants his targets. He wants to get his hands on them. He wants to be that guy that try to make a play during the game. And I honestly think sending him to the Jets kind of came out even with that trade because I feel they came out even with that trade because they got him. Like, not only now do you have Garrett Wilson, now you have Adonai Mitchell, and now he has a chance to show what he can do. And we've seen flashes of his ability. He makes rookie type mistakes, and that just comes with the growth and the maturation of a wide receiver in the NFL. I honestly think this dude, he does have the talents to be great. It's just the same reason why he kind of left Georgia to protect Texas. He doesn't really get a lot of balls thrown his way. And when he does, it's been successful. Hold on. That's not a joke on Georgia because he made a really good pivotal catch in the yeah.
You took exactly what I was about to say.
I know. I got college in my mind too.
Well, to add to your point, I was going to say his decision making from leaving Georgia to go to Texas to be shadowed underneath Xavier Worthy was terrible. He was the number one option at Georgia. His draft capital was high. He should have stayed. When he left and went to Texas, he then got moved to the third wide receiver because of the talent Texas had at the time. Every time he makes a move to go somewhere else, it's a bad decision. So hopefully this time it works out for him.
Speaking on receivers,
he didn't make the move. The Colts did. So he got worried about picking the right place to go.
Last thing I want to say about the trade deadline, and it's kind of something we talked about on Sunday when we were going through the games and whatnot. Trevor Lawrence threw the 9 different receivers on the game on Sunday. So with Travis Hunter out, and Chris, me and you had this conversation essentially on Sunday. With Travis Hunter out, they lose a lot at the receiver position because you're going to Dyami Brown and Parker Washington, which I don't think Parker Washington's bad. I think he's going to take him 2 years to get settled in the NFL, and he will be a legit number 3 option. But that Jakobi Meyers trade, I think, opens that offense even without Travis Hunter there. I think that, honestly, to me, was one of the better trades of the day because that's exactly what they filled the position that they needed. We do not have wide receiver depth, or we have depth, but we don't have talent in our depth. And adding Jakobi Meyers to be your number 2, and then maybe moving Travis Hunter to a number 3 slot, having Parker Washington come in, having Dyami Brown come in when needed, they really opened up that offense for Trevor Lawrence. It's honestly, at this point, it's up to him. If he can perform how he should be able to perform, they can be a threat.
You know what's crazy is that they keep moving Jakobi Meyers almost like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's gone from team to team to team, and he's not sticking. So I don't know.
I'll say it like this. That trade to me is going to stamp how I see Trevor Lawrence from now on, because there's several things getting a Jakobi Meyers does for your offense. I don't even think he'll be the number 3. I think he'll be the number 2, and they're going to start using Travis Hunter more on defense. Mm-hmm. But another thing about it is Jakobi Meyers used to be a quarterback, so he knows what Trevor Lawrence sees. And if Trevor Lawrence can't clean up his play because he has now another guy that it's not only just a receiver, he has his time in the NFL, is a vet, can show that he can, make his plays in critical moments. Now you have a guy that knows that when they're in a certain coverage, you're gonna see me if I go right there and flash my numbers. I'm gonna make a cut right here, and he should be able to see me as a relief in case that first read isn't there. If Trevor Lawrence can't capitalize off of having a Jakobi Meyers, a guy who has the mindset of a receiver and a quarterback, that's gonna just paint everything that some people are thinking about Trevor Lawrence right now, and that he's just a mid-tier type of quarterback, but he has these moments where he can flash some level of greatness to keep a starting job.
So before we touch on Sunday night, Monday Night Football, I want to bring up a little statistic for you guys. The Dallas Cowboys have Babe Ruth themselves. They have not beaten the Cardinals since 2005. They are 8-1 since trading Emmitt Smith to the Cardinals. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. When I saw that statistic, I was like, why? I just Jerry Jones. I sometimes he makes moves that don't make sense, but today, you got my respect. I was crashing out on Jerry Jones a year ago. I believe that was on Wake Up, but we'll see. So, what did you guys
We
think of the
gotta see.
recap
I
of Sunday
gotta
night's
see.
game?
Oh, Sunday night. Ooh, that was
Sunday night game was belt to ass. Plain and simple. Belt to ass. Washington got the double buckle. They got the pure leather. They got the quilted, like, and whatever belt you've seen in life, Washington got it that game. And then on top of that, they lost Jaden Daniels on top of that. It's whatever can go wrong for Washington has gone wrong this year.
People are giving him the RG3 title now. I don't know if you guys have heard this.
It's the
Which
dumbest. That's a
terrible comparison because of the injury, but it's almost the same way going out. Coming off a good season, getting injured multiple times. It's a pattern.
I'll say this: RG3's career and Jaden Daniels' career, there are differences that are glaring. Jaden Daniels better throw the football. RG3 was, I would say, in his rookie season, he was extremely more dynamic. But the thing about it is, RG3 played on a bad leg he should not have been playing on in the first place. When you're a quarterback wearing an offensive lineman's knee brace just to take the snap and drop back and throw, and you're still in pain, you should not be on the field. I don't give a damn what's the game. You should not be on the field, and especially in your rookie season. That can highly impact the rest of your career, and we've seen it. And then on top of that, now he went from, I understand I can run, but I want to be more of a passer, and that didn't work out. Jaden Daniels, he can pass and he can run. It's just what happened to him was the most freakish of accidents we've seen ever. We've seen guys get tackled like that on a daily.
After watching that recap of that injury, he could have high-fived that defender behind him. That shit was nasty.
Yeah, what do they call this?
Cool.
Somebody's law of bad things. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. You've heard that before. That is
usually when we talk about the
Cowboys. That's what basically sums up that game on Sunday. Everything that could have gone wrong.
Right? Are y'all reading this? Same yard line, same down against the same team.
The same can be said about Joe Theismann and Alex Smith. Same side of the field, same yard line, same teams, same type of play.
Was that also Washington?
Yeah.
It's a pattern, guys. There's a pattern in Washington.
I just got to give him.
I'm not joking about the injuries. I want to make that clear. I'm not making jokes about the injuries. I'm just saying it's crazy that this is happening to multiple guys that they've had come in and be their starting quarterbacks. So,
thank God it wasn't his throwing arm. Let's just be honest. If it was his throwing arm, that would have been that. If it was a throwing arm, I'd have been like the RG3 thing. Okay, it has some more weight, but it was his non-throwing arm. So, I don't see the RG3 comparison. I understand it's a really bad injury against the same team, same yard line, but also a different part of the year. RG3 got hurt in the playoffs.
Put a cast on, go back and play.
It's going to be hard to throw when your arm is like RoboCop at a 45-degree angle. 90-degree angle. Why I say 45?
If Doug Flutie can do it, so can he.
Have you guys seen
know.
You know Sean, the Colts fan?
Yes.
Like, this is our Colts. This is our year. That guy. Did you see his most recent video? He says, he goes through the whole thing, and then he goes, "Let's break Rodgers' back." And he is getting absolutely wrecked, just raked, dragged across the coals on the internet right now. Everyone's saying, "Oh, you're trying to say that you want him to be injured and this and that." I don't know how you guys seen it, how you guys feel about it. I personally think it's one of those things where it's like, let's get on him. Let's put so much pressure on him that he breaks. Not in a way like, hey, he's injured, but on the field, kind of like a pressure break type thing.
Let's be honest. America has become soft butter, right? We're not. We're not the same. We're not the same tough jerky motherfuckers that we used to be.
Barstool commented on it. He comes out and he says, "I only said that because I'm a savage." And then I forget who it is from Barstool. He comes out and he says, "This is the issue I have with this. If you're a savage, you don't apologize for it. You just come out and say, 'Hey, I was being savage. I'm a savage person,' and that's it. Don't apologize."
But he deserved all the ass kicking he's getting on social media. I'll agree. I'll halfway agree with what you say, boss. I believe part of America's soft is wet tissue, wet toilet paper. But I also think now everybody just becoming more of a bigger asshole and just using every excuse in the book not to hold themselves accountable for the shit they say, the shit they do, and how it affects people. So he deserved that one. I believe every booting ass everyone's giving him. He deserves it because you say something like that, and then your team damn near gets dragged. Like we're one Roman Wilson fumble away from we're saying they got their ass whooped. Like let's just be honest. He deserved to get dragged every inch of that fucking L road. Like let's be real. Come on.
Let's be honest here. Like if half of us posted some of the shit that we said in private group chats or on TikTok or blah 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 and posted it for social media to let everybody say, 98% of America would be canceled. Like the guy made a joke about a player that nobody really likes. Aaron Rodgers goes in his dark room and plays with his magical wizard Dungeons and Dragons bullshit, and it is what it is. All right, everybody looks at Aaron Rodgers like the villain, but did he really mean to put the guy in a wheelchair like Ryan Shazier? No.
If you're sitting there saying I was just being savage, you meant the shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see it as this. I don't get Aaron Rodgers. I don't want the dude getting hurt. Do I want belt the ass? Does Pittsburgh probably get destroyed 45-3? Absolutely. But I'd rather you lose that way and be healthy so I can laugh in your face when you're healthy. Like,
so you're telling me you've sat and watched a football game and the guy's just out there dominating you, and you being the corner, DB, defensive player, in your mind's like, man, if I gave that guy one good look to the helmet, this game could go a different way. Like I know as a quarterback, an offensive player, I know if I had kneed a guy in the face or a certain way in a play, I could take him off the field for a play or two. It would help my offense go further. I'm guilty of the same thing. So
that's the difference between a sprained ankle and a broken back. Look. If I'm getting torched by a receiver, if you just tweak your ankle and you can't finish the game, but you walk off the field, you know what I'm saying? That's more innocent than saying, "Look, man, I hope you get carted off in the back brace." You gonna be in the ambulance if you talk about a broken back. What he basically wanted from Aaron Rodgers is to get what Johnny Knox got when he was on the Bears. We don't want to see that. Like nobody wants to see that, man. Like you know how many cringeful moments we've seen in the NFL. We really looked at the Jaden Daniels injury. How many of y'all was like, "Oh shit!" Bruh, come on. I want to see that from a 40-year-old.
I went on Twitter. I was watching. I turned the game on, and this is the only game, and I've been busy doing some stuff, but that was the only game that I watched this week. I turned it on right during the injury happening. Like I was watching him walk off the field. So I had to go to Twitter to see what happened. And when I saw it, I threw my phone. I was like, ugh. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But if I'm trying to win a football game or a Super Bowl or maybe.
Well, in that case,
I'd rather whoop your ass healthy because then it leaves out the, if so-and-so was on the field, we would have whooped y'all ass. No. He beat y'all ass while he was there. Shut the fuck up. My bad, man. Continue.
So Monday Night Football recap. What you guys think? And then we'll do our picks on Thursday, and then we'll wrap up the show with hot takes.
Oh, Monday night. Honestly, it just comes down to Dallas got outplayed. That's what it came down to. The defense did their normal defensive things. They did not play well. Their offense was moving the ball. You know, Dak had another pretty solid game, 250 yards. The run game was there. They just got outplayed.
I have a crazy stat for you guys. Rocky shared this to me. Trey McBride has caught 4 touchdowns in 3 games from Jacoby Brissett, and he only caught 5 in 3 years from Kyler Murray. So, do the keys to success for the Cardinals is through Trey McBride?
I think it always has been.
I think.
Look at the year he had last year, and I don't think he even caught a touchdown pass until, if he did, it was after week like 13 or something. It was late in the season. But just the shit.
I know they're 3-5. I know they're only 3-5 right now, but it's early. Do they continue to use him?
Honestly think we're seeing a difference between a 6'5" quarterback and a quarterback that we all don't think is close to 6 feet. Jacoby Brissett has been seeing the field. He takes what the defense gives him. We don't really see the same consistently with Kyler Murray. And I think that size difference is playing a big role in how the football is being distributed. The Trey McBride point that you just made, I think they ran a lot of the offense through him. He got what was it? Oh, he had the most receptions of a tight end last year. I mean, he had like 80, almost 90 receptions, and he scored like 2 touchdowns in like the last 2.
I had to throw it. Once you said it, I had to throw it up there. I've been saving that picture for a long
Mighty
time.
Mouse. Mighty Mouse, man.
I'm surprised he's still good at Call of Duty with how small his hands are, you know?
But the crazy thing is a lot of people, I'll let you finish just like Chris, but the crazy thing is a lot of people think that Kyler Murray would be more successful with the Eagles than Jalen Hurts is with the Eagles.
I don't know.
That's a crazy. I've heard it multiple times on different people's pages, on different podcasts, on different TikTok lives. I don't disagree with it, with the arm talent that Kyler Murray has. But
I disagree with it.
It's a what if, and what ifs are for Cinderella stories. So
here's why I disagree with it. Because if the ball snapped, how is he going to see over a left tackle that's almost a foot taller than him? The left tackle for the Eagles is 6'8".
You just have Saquon Barkley push him.
He would lift him. He wouldn't even push him. Like it wouldn't even be the tush push. It'd be like a toss over the pile. Like it wouldn't even be a tush push for real. Like
I mean, if you look at Arizona's offensive line, they range from 6'4" to 6'7". So they're all still big guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if that's an issue for him. Because everybody said that Drew Brees was going to have that issue being short back there. Doug Flutie was going to have that problem. These guys still get it done. Kyler Murray was in MVP conversations 3 years ago. Let's not forget that.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that because the same issues with the Cardinals 3 years ago is happening with Washington. What was the issue last year?
Injuries.
For that year. No. That year when Arizona put boot to ass to the Rams, that the problem was come halfway point in the season, Cliff Kingsbury sucks at making adjustments. And what are we seeing in Washington right now?
Yeah, but they also had injuries to they had injuries to James Conner. They had injuries to offensive line. JJ Watt was having health problems with his heart. I mean, there were multiple things going on. Then you had Chandler Jones losing his fucking mind too. So,
yeah, but that offense, I don't know. You have a quarterback that's like Kyler Murray was having quite an MVP level year, and all of a sudden he falls off the face of the earth. Like at some point, you got to look past just the players on the field and say, hey man, how was the coaching staff adjusting to all these things that happen in every team in football? Well, except for the Chandler Jones situation, but everything that usually happens in football was injuries and defenses making adjustments to counteract what you're doing. And he didn't do that well. I mean, they were number 1 at one point in the NFC, and then next thing you know, they're barely making a wild card spot. They were like 10-1, 10-2. That's crazy.
All right, well, let's touch on Thursday Night Football, and then we'll move on to our hot takes. Who you guys got for Thursday night?
Was it Raiders?
He has
Broncos?
Thursday. Who?
Raiders Broncos.
Oh, it's Denver.
Divisional game.
That's Denver. 2 picks by Geno Smith. Book it.
I'm going to stay true to what I've been saying. The most inconsistent good team in the NFL is the Broncos. I think they win the game, but I think that they might struggle. The divisional game on a random night of the week, I think that this could be I hate using the term trap game. A lot of people use that term. I think they just use it for games that they're like, oh, I'm just going to say it in case we lose because then I can go back and say it was a trap game. But I think this ultimately could be a trap game for the Broncos that just came off a poor performance. They're going against a team that they should ultimately just beat outright by 20 or 30 points. And I think that Geno Smith might, he might end the game with 300-something yards. They might be empty calorie yards, but he could show some. He should show up at the end of the game and give him a scare. I think.
I'm gonna take the Broncos, but close. I'm gonna go 7 points.
I'll go 14 because of the simple fact that, one, when you're in the red zone, you hold your breath when Geno Smith releases the ball. And 2, you do have a guy named Brock Bowers who we've seen the last game against the Jaguars. The man is just, he's a matchup nightmare, dude. Like, the fact that he able to play that fast, hands, he can snatch the ball out the air one-handed, way he runs his routes. They have a generational talent at tight end, and I think Pete Carroll and the crew, they're trying to make the best of it. They got Trey Tucker, who's the speed guy. Like, it's going to be tough to guard those guys. I believe Trey Tucker at one point had the most touchdowns in the league, I believe, in the beginning of the season out of wide receivers. So when they have guys that can be dynamic to the point where they literally kind of whittled out Jacoby Myers when it came to that offense. And, Ashton Genty starting to show up a little bit more. It's just like the quarterback play and their run defense. Max Crosby makes a play behind the line of scrimmage a couple times a game, but outside of that, it's not looking good. And so that's why I'm picking Denver, because once they're going to be able to run the ball, I think the Raiders are going to be in trouble. As long as they can block Max Crosby, I believe the Broncos will be fine offensively.
I can see that. All right, let's get into hot topics. Hot takes presented by Five Guys Burgers. Make sure you guys go to your local Five Guys and shout them out and go get you a nice juicy hamburger. Let them know that the Fit Take guys sent you there. Trying to get that sponsorship from them, but they said we could shout them out. So
Eat some Cajun fries. They slept on them. Some Cajun fries slept on.
I don't understand the peanuts. No slander towards Five Guys. I don't understand why the peanuts all over the floor. Like, come on. I feel like I'm walking in Dumbo's tent or something. I don't get it, but whatever.
I'm at Peggy's Saloon down off 41.
At least sell beer. Like beer and peanuts, that would make sense. But anyways. What's y'all's hot takes? No beer at Five Guys? Okay. All right.
My hot take is the AFC North is going to come down to one game. It's going to be Pittsburgh versus Baltimore in the last week of the season. Winner goes, loser goes home.
All right. Take 4.
I really hate to say this. It's going against everything that I believe in to say this on a live here for the world to see. And shout out to our man Raven. If you don't know Raven on TikTok, go check him out. He's a big Thunder fan, but I think that the roster the Thunder have put together, but over the past couple of years, coming off a championship, starting this season 7-0, and essentially just dominating teams all the way, we could see them make a run at the Golden State Warriors record for best record in the NBA ever. I think they have the roster for it. I think they have the depth, barring injury. I mean, you have to keep your core guys, but you got to remember they've done a lot of this without J-Dubs. He hasn't really played the first couple of games. So you add him into this lineup, as long as he flows back into what he was doing last year, I think we can see him start the season off 12-15-0. unless they start resting players. That's a big thing in the NBA now. But
all right.
So you
Well,
think with the whole? Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
I had a question. So
Go
you
ahead.
think with the whole load management era, they have a great chance of having losing 8 or less games in an 82 game season?
yeah, I think with this roster now, that has to come down to them. Also, Shea will have to play a majority of those games. Win, lose, or draw, he has to play a lot of those games. So if they come to the end of the season, they have such a big lead in the West, they know they don't have to play that many games. They might sit back and start resting players. If they don't do that and they say, hey, we have a chance at this, we can set the record, and they go for it, I think they will be close. I don't know if they'll necessarily do it, but I mean, their starting five is one of the best starting fives in the NBA. Their next five off the bench could start for some of these bad teams. Those 5 guys could start for the Nets. Those 5 guys could start for the Wizards, for the Pelicans. Well, maybe not the Pelicans, but like the Wizards. The Celtics right now, they're playing horrible. They could probably start some of those guys on the Celtics team, even with Jaylen Brown there. So I just think that they have enough depth that they can be competitive any game, even with an injury. Now, that being said, if they lose like a Shea or a big key piece, Shea being the biggest one, obviously. But if they lose Shea, then that goes right down the drain. That take goes right down the drain. But if Shea stays healthy, they say, no load management. We're going to just play out our games, and we're going to do our best every single night. They have a chance. I think they really do. This is the most complete team we've seen in a long time in the NBA.
They've got to win 9 out of 10 games. Every 10 games they got to play, they've got to win 9.
And I really, I haven't looked at their schedule. I don't know what their stretches look like, but I really do think, without even looking at the schedule, that is a possibility. They might have one of the best playoff runs this year. They might not lose a game through the playoffs.
Maybe.
Here's my right there.
Here's my hot take. The Los Angeles Dodgers, congratulations, won the World Series. I know we didn't really talk about that, but they'll talk about that on the In the Park podcast. So you guys make sure you go check that out on Sunday nights. I think they may be the greatest baseball team ever assembled.
When it's all said and done,
there is nothing that says they cannot three-peat, other than if the Tigers can re-sign some players, if the Yankees can actually be productive and Aaron Judge be productive in the postseason. It's really nothing that I can say that the Dodgers won't get back to the World Series next year. So, but we're gonna end the show with something funny. So you guys make sure you check this out. It's a great clip. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but we brought up Chandler Jones and the motherfucker's crazy. So I thought you guys would enjoy this clip as we end. Shout out to Bill Belichick.
Just got rid of you, oh Bill Belichick. You didn't flatten that ball. It was Tom Brady. You didn't Spygate. You didn't Deflategate. He's innocent. So why fire him when it should have been Mr. Kraft? Oh, Bill Belichick. As long as you cut the check, fire the wrong man. Why fire him? They called it a dynasty. He got 7 Super Bowls.
You got 6.
Oh, Bill Belichick.
Did anyone cringe like I did?
I will say shout out to Antonio Brown for the single greatest tweet of all time that ties this all together. CTESPN.
The irony. Yeah, Mr. Pew Pew in the parking lot. Yeah, okay. God.
But y'all make sure to check us out again. We'll be live Friday night, 9 p.m. Make sure you come check us out. You'll hear our predictions, updating scores, everything. We appreciate you guys. Shout out Fit Take.